Hey Atlanta, paying too much for your wireless bill is not Southern hospitality, which is why millions of people have switched to Sprint this past year. To celebrate, you could save 50% on most T-Mobile rate plans when you switch to Sprint. All this on the Sprint network, which is faster, plus more reliable, and has better coverage than ever. Why wouldn't you switch today? Hurry, visit a Sprint store or Sprint.com to learn more.
Limited time offer. Offer coverage not available everywhere. Excludes taxes, surcharges, add-on, and premium content. Subject to new line porting, activation fee, and credit. See website for eligible plans. Savings until March 31st, 2018 after pay full amount. Restrictions apply.
Blog Talk Radio.
We are the UR Tennis Network. Our mission is to be the voice of tennis. We enlist a team of passionate enthusiasts to promote our sport. We strive to bring interesting perspectives on the many spins of tennis. Our goal is to provide the learners of our sport with current news and information from many angles. We seek active participation from communities interested in tennis, but tennis is not interested in them. We are expanding our outreach. Tennis is a true lifetime sport that needs to be talked about, and the UR Tennis Network pledges to pursue this idea relentlessly.
Good morning and welcome to the Parenting Aces radio show on Blog Talk Radio's UR Tennis Network. I'm your host, Lisa Stone, and I'm really excited about today's show. We're talking with our old friend, Ross Greenstein, about a new adventure that he is involved in, and I'm not going to waste anybody's time this morning. I'm going to just get right to it and bring Ross on the line and jump right in. Ross, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Lisa. It's always a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you. I'm not sure I believe you when you say that, but I'll take it.
It is. I love talking with you.
So my listeners know you from your years with Scholarship for Athletes. You have recently sold the company and are involved in a new venture also involving tennis. So I'm going to let you just explain what it is you're doing, and then let's talk about it.
Sounds good. Thanks. Yeah, I got the opportunity to sell Scholarship for Athletes this summer, and it's still up and running, and they're doing a great job. And Josh McCumber, who is our director of golf, is still running it. And, yeah, they're doing great. And I ended up moving on and taking a job with a company called Jack Nadell International and doing branded merchandise. And now I'm in the corporate world, which is fun. And on the side, I've been talking a lot with college coaches and parents and realizing that there was just a big, kind of a missed opportunity for all of our college players as to what they should do in the summer. I know you've talked about it before, and the USTA has talked about it, the ITA has talked about it, and there's just not a lot of great opportunities for the college players, especially the ones living in the U.S., to get much better in the summer. And so I've partnered up with some friends of mine over at Tennis Europe. Martin and Gary have been running trips to Europe for 40 years, and they really know the market well, and we put together a whole itinerary for college players to go and play open tournaments, and we're really excited about it.
So the ITA offers the ITA Summer Circuit, which I've promoted a ton through Parenting Aces. I think it's a great idea. The problem with it is it's only 4 weeks worth of competition. So what are these kids supposed to do the rest of their summer? And, it's tough for tennis players, and I'm seeing this with my own kid now. These kids, they don't have time to train and have a real summer job. They don't have time to train and really travel, extensively because the window is very short in the summer and they've got to get back to campus. And I think it's really cool that Tennis Europe is working with you because you do have these relationships with the kids, with the coaches, and you've seen this opening to provide a mode of competition for them. Let's talk about what it is you're doing, and the program's called 25 matches in 25 days. It sounds like a lot. So tell us, the details, what's involved here.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you said is correct, regarding the ITAs and the summer circuit. It's just, in general in the U.S., depending on where you live. If you're in, maybe Southern California, you've got open events and some money tournaments you can play. But in general, in the U.S. in the summer, for the college kids who say, you know what, I'm actually not going to get an internship or I'm not going to get a job for the entire summer. Maybe I'll do an internship for a month or I'll do a summer job for a month, but I actually want to spend a good, 5-6 weeks of my summer training and getting better. Where do they go? Where do they get tons of match play? And ultimately, the ITAs are good depending on where you are. Sometimes the draws are bigger and smaller, but the idea of prize money is what we've seen across the country. I mean, you can put prize money tournament with a lot of money basically in the middle of nowhere in the United States in the summer, and people will go play. And that's the whole idea in Europe, is that you can go to Europe, in 3 weeks, our kids that go play this are going to be in 9 singles tournaments and 2 doubles tournaments. Each week has about 3 events going on. So you're constantly getting matches. We just don't really have that system here in the U.S. On top of it, these are prize money events. So if the players do well, they can actually take some prize money, which would help cover their expenses, which in the U.S. we really don't have that.
So when people hear prize money and college tennis in the same sentence, red flags start going off. So let's clarify that the NCAA has said that it's okay for players to take up to $10,000 a year in prize money and still maintain eligibility. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, it's $10,000 in prize money, and then after that, expenses. So obviously in this trip, it's pretty easy to have expenses as well. I'm not anticipating that any of our college players, if the best college players in America go and play these tournaments, it's not a good chance maybe they'll even win it. I mean, they could. Obviously, it depends who shows up, but these tournaments are going to be tough. They're European prize money tournaments. There's going to be a lot of, players that are currently playing pro tennis, playing futures, playing challengers. Players who used to play pro tennis are going to show up to these tournaments. We've picked some, great tournaments in great cities where the competition is going to be high. And, yeah, if they get to the semis or finals and they can win some money, awesome. I think I don't think anyone's going to win $10,000. If they won all of them, maybe they would. But, if they get some money, great.
And I mean, what are you talking about in terms of prize money? Are you talking about a couple $100 here and a couple $100 there?
Yeah, I think they do. Generally, the winner will maybe win $1,000, and the finalist gets $500, and the semifinalist would get $250.
Okay, so I mean, it's pocket money, and certainly
definitely
will help
helps.
cover.
Yeah, it helps cover expenses. I mean, we'd love it if we get some of our top players to go and do well and make $5,000. I mean, that would be great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So tell us where you're going and how are you choosing who gets to go? How many kids are you taking? Is it open to boys and girls? Blah, blah,
yeah,
blah.
So it's open to boys and girls. We'd love to have like an equal amount, which would be great. Our ideal number is about 12 to 14. We already have 4 boys and 2 girls that have kind of verbaled that they want to do it. We're not going to go unless we get 10. It's not worth it unless we get 10 players to go. So somewhere between 10 and 14 would be ideal. And we've put together an itinerary, and it's from June 25th to July 19th, so it's about 25 days. And it's good timing, we think, because it lets the kids get a little break after the college season's over. And if they need to take a class or they want to get an internship or a job, take a few weeks off, and then get ready to hit it hard, because it's going to be very intense, a lot of tennis. Like we said, 11 events in 25 days, and it's in 3 countries. So it's basically 3 weeks. 1 week, first week is called The Hague. It's Dutch Satellite Pro tournaments in Holland. And the other great thing that Tennis Europe has done is they know all these tournaments. They know the tournament directors. They've been there a million times. And so they do great housing. We've got great hotels set up right close to the events. We've got practice courts set up. We've got transportation to and from the tournaments. Breakfast and dinner is included in the fees. And if the tournament's over and we have a time for some sightseeing, we'll do a day of sightseeing at these places.
Very cool. And are they clay court tournaments, hard court tournaments, a mix?
Clay courts. Going to get
Wow.
some grinding on some clay, which would be great for our players.
Yeah, and I can just say from my 1 hour of a lesson on a red clay court a couple of years ago, it is very different from playing on the clay here in the U.S., and it's very different from playing on the hard courts. And these kids will come back with the strongest legs ever.
Yeah, and I think, again, from the college coach's perspective, there's not a college coach in the country that wouldn't want their players to do this, right? They're going to get a ton of match play against different ages and different levels of players, against players from Europe and around the world, so they see different styles, players who have been playing on clay their whole life, and also it's to be fun. It's fun to travel. It's fun. So, first week's in Holland, second week is in Germany, and the third week's in the Czech Republic in Prague. Prague's obviously a great city that a lot of Americans go to study abroad at, so I'm sure a lot of college students are familiar with it. And, it's just really about just providing an opportunity for these players to have some fun, be on a team with some boys and girls, travel Europe for a few weeks, get tons of great match play in, and the opportunity to improve. And that's really what it's about. We've got a lot of college players, as you know. Look, we've got an average about 12 kids a team. 10 to some teams have 10, some have 14. If only 6 are playing, that means half of our college players, really need a lot of match play. They didn't get a lot of match play in the spring. And so this is just a great opportunity to get a lot of matches in a quick period of time to get them ready for their fall season.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So putting my parent hat on for a minute, talk about the adult supervision that will be present on this trip.
Yeah, we're going to have a minimum of 2 coaches, chaperones, supervisors, adults that will be with the players. Also, the guys from Tennis Europe who run the company, Martin and Gary, they'll be in Europe with other teams as well. So they'll be dropping in on our college team. And, we figure that they're college students, they're 18, they're adults, so we're not expecting to be babysitting them. They're there to play tennis, they're there to work. It's going to be very intense. It's a lot of tennis. If the kids are planning to go to party in Europe, this is not the trip for them. They won't enjoy it. But we do have the chaperones there, and we are providing all transportation to and from every tournament, to and from every practice. Included in the fee is getting from Holland to Germany and Germany to Prague, and once the players are there, everything will be taken care of. And that's the other thing that was important to me. For a lot of the student athletes who would love to go to Europe and play these tournaments, just figuring it all out is not easy. Where do you stay? How do you sign up for the tournaments? How do you get from tournament to tournament? How do you get practice courts? Well, all of that's going to be taken care of, which is great.
Yeah, that's awesome. And do you know who the coaches are going to be yet? Who are going?
We do not. No, we've been talking to some, and I'm hoping to get 1 or 2 of them to be more of physical fitness type coaches, athletic trainers. That's more of what we're looking for, so that we can make sure that these kids are staying in shape and stretching and eating right, more than teaching them how to hit forehands and backhands. All of these kids are college players, so they're all going to know how to play tennis at a high level.
Do the kids that come on the trip have to have already been in college for a year, or can
no,
they
if
be
they're
rising
going into
freshmen?
college, we're going to let them come. So for a lot of kids, as you know, kids who are seniors going to college, a lot of them are the most lost. They have no tournaments to play. And so we wanted to make it available to them. You know, kids that are seniors might not have the points, might not want to play junior tournaments, and to find open tournaments in their area is very difficult. So we're opening it to kids that are going to be in college, which is a phenomenal way to get ready for college, and then student athletes that are in college or just finished college that want to play.
Fantastic. So this is the first year you guys are offering this, yeah?
Yeah, it's the first year. We've been talking about it for a couple of years. We finally put it together. I finally had some time to really dive into it and think about it as I was selling SFA and getting into my new job, and we're excited about it. We hope that, you know, we get some student athletes and to sign up and get moving this year and then continue to grow it.
And so if people want to get information on this, should they contact you? Is there a website they can go to?
Yeah, it's tenniseurope.com/college team. But if they go to tenniseurope.com, they'll see the website for it. And the contact is actually Martin and Gary at Tennis Europe. There's phone numbers there. Their emails are there. And I would contact them to get all the details because they're really the people in charge of the details of the trip.
Great. And
they'll be there
again,
as well.
Awesome. So again, with my parent hat on, what happens if a kid gets over there and gets injured or gets sick, God forbid? You know, what are y'all going to have something in place to handle that, or get the kids home if they need to get back here?
Yeah, I mean, they like I said, Gary and Martin have been doing these trips to Europe for 40 years. So it's not going to be the first time. There's probably nothing that they haven't seen. So everything will be, and if parents have specific questions, they can talk to them about that. And the other thing that I want to make sure people understand, too, is that this is a 25-day trip, 3 weeks, but we've made it so that if people only want to go for 1 week, they can go for 1 week. If they only want to go for 2 weeks, they can go for 2 weeks. So they don't have to do the entire 3 weeks if they don't want to.
That's great to point out because, like you said, a lot of these kids are, especially the ones that are already in college, are looking at internships and summer jobs, and, you know, they may not have 3 weeks to devote to travel like that. So, you know, that's awesome that y'all are offering that shorter term opportunity. What are you thinking is going to come out of this? I mean, you said that, you know, there really aren't that many great competitive opportunities for these players during the summer here at home. Are you hoping to see a change, or what does need to change so that kids don't have to go all the way to Europe to get this competition?
I think it's from me being a coach. You know, I still coach some of the top juniors in San Diego and coach some current college players. I think from the coaching hat on, it's matches. At the end of the day, we can practice all we want. We need to play matches, and we need to play as many matches as possible under, you know, tough circumstances, the better. I think going to Europe, playing on clay, playing against older players, adult veteran players that have played a lot of matches, you just learn so much. I mean, you can't really put a price on that. And a lot of these American kids, even the college kids, as parents and kids see, sometimes you play a college match and you play a boy or a girl that you've been playing since you've been 10 years old. And the juniors just gets repeated into college. And so this is just a great opportunity to play against different styles of play, see how different players win matches, be around this environment, be around this culture of pro tennis in Europe, and see all these players out there, how they practice, how they train, how they treat each other. You know, a great opportunity to meet people from all over the world, which a lot of these college players are going to go into business someday, and build your network, expand your network, meet people, and use tennis to meet more people. So I can think of 1,000 advantages. Become more mature, learn what a pro lifestyle is, most college players have never traveled week tournament, then another tournament in a different city another week, then another tournament another city different week, and we get a little taste of the pro lifestyle as well, which is a great opportunity.
You are a very big proponent of equating tennis and real life. I mean, that's kind of always been the hidden, not so hidden, but the message underneath everything you've done in tennis. I mean, you played college tennis, you parlayed that experience into business, you used your role as head of SFA to really educate players on how to conduct the interview, and I'm using air quotes here, during recruiting, and what that means, and understanding how to make phone calls to coaches and to respond to coaches and to take a business style approach to their tennis. This seems like a natural progression for you, and I'm just curious, given your new position and kind of your move away from the recruiting side of things, how you got involved in this.
Well, I think, I appreciate that. That's a compliment for me, because I think I learned early on in life that everyone tells you it's who you know, not always what you know. And relationships and relationship building are the most important things to successful careers. And whether you're in finance or you're a doctor or you're a lawyer or you're an entrepreneur, it is about relationships, and tennis is just an unbelievable sport for it. I always use the example that if student athletes went to Kalamazoo and instead of playing tennis, they just interviewed and met all the parents that are at Kalamazoo, that would be the best week of their life, because the parents that go to these tournaments are very successful, very good people, who like tennis players, who are around tennis, and would be happy to help these kids out as they transition from high school to college, eventually from college to becoming adults. And again, this is just an extension of that. Get on a team with boys and girls, meet some people that you don't know that have college tennis as a common interest, go to Europe, meet people from all over the world, and build these connections, and also, again, learn what it's like to be on a team, learn what it's like to travel with a team, because that's what the real world is. Every person is going to get a job, and they're going to be on a team, and they're going to have to travel with their team, and they're going to, hope maybe travel to Europe for work. And this is a great opportunity to get that experience and see what it's like to stay in European hotels and take the trains and eat the food and meet the people and learn different cultures. And I'm just such a big proponent that this can teach all of that. And from a college coach's perspective, every college coach wants their players to become more mature. Every single college coach. And this is another great experience to kind of put yourself in an uncomfortable position. And we all grow from being a little bit uncomfortable and maybe spending the summer at home with your mom cooking your food and doing your laundry and hanging with your friends from high school. It's fun and it's relaxing, but it's maybe not the best growth opportunity.
Right. And so you see this continuing on after this year, possibly growing. I mean, you're limiting the size this first year. Is this something that you envision doing multiple times over a summer so that more kids can get involved, or are you just kind of using the summer as a
That's the hope. I think we really feel like we're onto something, that for this 18 to 23-year-old market that still love tennis and want to get better and want to play, the U.S. just hasn't provided it for them. The U.S. is too big. It's expensive to travel. We don't have enough money tournaments in any area to play futures. You've got to travel the entire country, and you maybe get one match, and you're not going to make any money. And the pre-qualies of our American pro tournaments, which, I'm glad I saw that we're going to start putting pro tournaments on college campuses, which is great, and I'm all for it. But that's really only for 1% of college tennis players. Only 1% of college tennis players are even going to be able to get in to a pre-quali and then a quali of a 10,000 pro tournament. And so we need more opportunities, and I'd love to see even the Division III players and Division II players and NAI players that really still have a passion for tennis and want to improve and want to get better. They need more opportunities like this to play more matches and get better. And this would be the dream. You know, like I said, Tennis Europe's been doing this for, 40, 50 years. It'd be great if we can continue this program for this age, for the next 30, 40 years.
And so, tennis-wise, what's on your agenda? I mean, where are you headed with tennis? Because I can tell you I've had so many people contact me and say, where's Ross? What happened to Scholarship for Athletes? And where is he? And I point them to Josh, so don't worry. But people really came to rely on you for your expertise during recruiting, and I'd hate to see you leave that altogether.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still involved a little bit. I am the volunteer men's coach at University of San Diego, and I've really enjoyed that. And they've got a great coaches and great team, and it's been fun to be around, top 25 D1 tennis players and tennis matches. So I'm still involved a little bit, and I'm still coaching a few juniors here and helping them with their recruiting. And but I'm busy. I've got a full-time job, and but again, if parents have questions, they can always reach out to me. And a lot of these tennis coaches have become my good friends, so I keep in touch with them. And I love following my former SFA clients as they're in college and, believe it or not, out of college and in the real world. And I even had a Scholarship for Athlete client get married already, so it's making me feel old.
Yeah, you're really old. And you're a parent now too, so
I am.
Yeah, so you may be a tennis parent before you know it.
Yeah, I could be. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, I think the USTA is really doing a great job. Martin's done an amazing job. The ITA is going to keep improving and getting better, and I know Erica and her team over there are doing a good job, and things are moving in the right direction. It's just there's always going to be little pockets and little issues that come up, and this is one of them. We just need more money tournaments in the U.S. We need more opportunities in the summer when the kids are out of school, and there's infinitely more junior tournaments in the summer than there are opportunities for kids 18 and older, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but that's what we have.
And there aren't even that many junior tournaments in the summer. I mean, that's what's so interesting. There are, lower level tournaments, at least
right.
where I am in Atlanta.
Right.
There are a ton of lower level tournaments, but there really aren't that many top
Well,
level.
the national tournaments have gotten smaller.
Right.
And yes, like you said, and the draws have gotten smaller. And yeah, I mean, look, there's a need. And, that's the other thing. Tennis Europe does take high school players to Europe. So if there's high school players out there that are looking to go to Europe and parents of high school players that, don't have kids in college, check out Tennis Europe for the high school program. I mean, they're playing great tournaments, and I actually went on Tennis Europe when I was 14, and that's how I got to know these guys, and I had an amazing experience and played some really high ITF and open tournaments, and they do a phenomenal job. It's just, unfortunately, a lot of the top players in the U.S. now won't leave to go to Europe to play because they're so worried about points and rankings and getting into these tournaments. And when I played, we didn't care as much about having to get into a certain tournament or having to get into a certain rankings point system. We just went and played where the tennis was the best.
What's interesting is, and I don't know if you had a chance to listen to my show with Sammy Giamova, but he was saying that now the top D1 programs, they're looking for kids that have ATP or WTA tour points. I mean, it's not even about your junior ranking anymore. It's now, have you played these entry-level pro events and won matches? Because that's who they want on their team. So it seems to me that, this European opportunity would be a great gauge to see if you're even ready for tennis at that level.
Yeah, and I think our good friends, at Universal Tennis, right? I mean, they're doing it as well, and as UTR expands, that'll help all the college coaches. And again, this is where we kind of see things heading, because it doesn't matter what you're technically ranked or if you play the American tournaments. Has become a global sport, like you said, and they're looking for players, and college coaches are using UTR now more than anything, and that's another reason why we want these kids to go to Europe, because the more they go to Europe, the more they play against these different players and different competition, it'll actually help their UTR. It'll actually prove their level a little bit more because so many kids are coming from there.
Right. And I, just from watching my own kid, I mean, he went to his first ITF tournament when he was in high school and, got rounded. I mean, it was just, he got spanked basically by the competition. So it was motivation to come home and work hard. Then he went to his first futures tournament his senior year in high school at the beginning of the year, got spanked, and it was motivation to come home and work harder. So, I think it's important for these kids to see what that next level looks like, get a taste of it, put yourself on the court against it, and either one of two things happens. Either you're motivated to come back and work hard, or you say, you know what, I don't want to work that hard. I'm done with this, and they move on. Either way, it's a good outcome, right?
Yeah, it's great. But what you said is exactly why our system's bad. Because in Europe, they're going to play 3 singles tournaments in the same week. So if they lose, they have another match the next day. And the biggest problem that I have with tennis and the financial part of it is if you look at how much parents in America are spending per match, it's crazy. And so you can go and travel to a future this summer. Take the U.S. futures. I don't think we have any back-to-back in the same state. A lot of times you've got to travel to a new state just to play the next tournament. And
California
you can
has
play.
California has them in September, right?
Yeah, I mean there are, right? Yes, they do have some, but in general, it's a lot of travel. And like you said, you lose your first match if Morgan plays and he loses first round in an ITF. There's no backdraw. Right. You just go home. So you can fly all the way to a different country or a different state and play a match and lose and be done. Same with our futures and ITFs here, which it just doesn't. It's not. That's never going to, there's no way you can say that's best for your child or college player's improvement. We need more events like we have in Europe where, like we said, if you're winning and you're playing, you could get 25 matches in 25 days. If our players do well, they're going to get more than 25 matches in 25 days. And that's, it sounds like a lot of tennis, but that's what we need. We need a lot of matches, and it makes the most sense. You can be in one place for 1 week and get a lot of match play.
So I have a question. What do you recommend that the players do who want to go on this trip in order to prepare for the intensity of the tennis that they're going to be playing there? Because they're going to be dealing with jet lag.
We're going to go early, and they're going to train a little bit and get used to the clay, so they'll have that going for them. But I think, look, you and I have had this long conversation about practice matches and kids in Atlanta not just going and just playing matches. And that's essentially what we're trying to do here is just, I'd love to see college kids that get together this summer. They don't need coaches. They don't need anything. Just go find some courts and go play 3 out of 5 sets and then play another match in the afternoon. I mean, there's no secret to success other than just getting better and playing matches, and when there's pressure, it's even better.
But as you know, I mean, you say this, over and over and over again. I went so far as to create a Facebook page for tennis match play for people to sign up, and, I created a document where they can put their contact information and, and I keep checking in to to ask if anybody's utilized the group to facilitate match play, and not one person has done so. So I don't know, it's very frustrating to see this continue, and parents are complaining about the high cost of tennis, but there's so many ways to cut the cost, and the easiest is just to tell your kid to pick up the phone and call a buddy and meet them at the courts and play. And I mean, what do you think it is that's keeping these kids and these parents and these coaches from doing that? Because it's how you grew up, it's how I grew up. I mean, I rode my bike to the tennis courts after school and hung out till somebody showed up that I could hit with.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's money. It's always money. It's always going to be money. Youth sports is all about money. Junior coaches, and honestly, we might not get a lot of players to do our Europe trip this summer, because if they're not staying home with their coach from juniors and training there, that junior coach is losing money. Mm-hmm. And that's what it comes down to. So if your son's going to ride his bike and go play a match with a friend at a public court, the junior pro or junior coach isn't going to make money. So why would they recommend for them to do that?
Okay, but you're recommending it, and I've certainly talked about it
because I'm not a
junior
coach. I don't coach that way. So I don't need. I'm also not living my livelihood off coaching. But it would be tough to say to one of my top players that I coached in juniors. I'm being honest. If I had a top player that I coach in juniors who's now in college, and I can get them to come home this summer, play and hit with all my junior players that I coached during the year, and now they're one of the best players, and I've got great competition for my juniors, which is going to get me more money, because I can say, look, I've got college players coming home that you're going to be able to train with, and now I can charge my college players money, plus I can charge more junior players money to hit with these college players. Why would I send that college player and say, you know what, I really think you should go to Europe and play a ton of matches on clay and get better? It's only going to cost that coach money. Right.
I mean, I see the dilemma, but I also, from the parent side, I get frustrated because...
Well, that's the parents' fault. It's no one's fault but the parents. The parents are the ones who need to step in, and say, wait a second, this doesn't make sense. Why are we paying to go to a group practice or a group drill to then have two kids who knew each other go down and play a practice match? Mm-hmm. We don't need to be in a group for that. We can just do that on our own.
Right.
But that's that's the market, and the market's the market. And if there are parents out there who don't really have a great loyalty maybe to a certain coach or coaches, or they are up front, hey, my son's going to take a lesson with you once a week, and the other days of the week they're going to go and find practice matches. But, that's what would even make the players better, but it's tough. And I see it from the coach's perspective, and a lot of the junior coaches are my good friends. And I understand their dilemma as to why would they send their players elsewhere. It's just going to cost them money for them to go somewhere else to play.
Mhm. No, I get it. I do get it. But, I just feel like parents, to the parents that are listening to this, I mean, you've got to take control here. Otherwise, you are, and I'm speaking from personal experience, I mean, you're spending tens of thousands of dollars a year on lessons and drill groups when you could probably spend, a fraction of that and have your child improve exponentially more, and just by playing matches. And it doesn't even have to be against other kids. It can be against adults. It can be, really against anybody. And it's the act of playing the match is what is beneficial. And I don't know, I wish there were more opportunities, and I wish more parents would insist that their kids take control of that and, you know, make arrangements to play
and to take it a step further, I mean, I still coach kids that are in college and junior players, and we have this technology called video, and video is pretty amazing. These kids can actually video their practice matches, upload them onto this thing called the internet, and the coaches can actually watch them whenever they want and give feedback. And it's a very powerful way to coach, and the players can be anywhere in the world. So even our trip to Europe, they can film their matches while they're in Europe. They can upload them at night, and their junior coaches or college coaches can go on and watch them, and boom, they can call them or email them with some thoughts. And as a coach, anyone who's out there, they know they can watch 20 minutes of a video of a match and know quickly if their students are doing what they want them to do or working on things they want them to work on, and give them a few tips. And I would tell parents they're better off paying the coach to watch their kids' video than they are to even have them watching them, you know, in a drill group. So go play your practice match, upload your video, and ask your coach to watch it for 15 minutes and see a few things that they see and point that out. That's probably more beneficial anyway.
That's a great idea. And you're right. I mean, we have been slow, we meaning tennis, has been slow to grasp this whole idea of using video to improve play. And I've had lots of shows on that exact topic, and so you know,
easy.
hopefully the message is started right.
It's so
easy.
Especially
now with iPhones, you know.
And we have GoPros, and you set up on a fence, and you film it, and you upload it, and boom, anyone can watch it. And, you know, your parents can watch it, your coach can watch it, your junior coach can watch it, your college coach can watch it. And it's great for the player to watch. That's the other thing. These players should be filming all their matches and going back and watching it. Most players, when you tell them what they did on the court, they have no idea. And they don't see it because they're in the moment. And all of a sudden they go back and they watch the video and they go, wow, I didn't realize I was, you know, missing that many serves. Or I didn't realize I got that many short balls and I didn't take advantage of it. You know, I didn't realize until after the match and watching the video that every time I sliced it down the line, you know, the person always went short cross court. I mean, it's just an unbelievable tool that all the players should be taking advantage of. And that's, you know, another part of our whole trip to Europe, which is, look, film the matches and send them back to your junior coach and college coach. It's great.
Yeah. So what are you hearing from the college coaches in terms of what they expect from their players over the summer?
Look, every college coach wants their kids playing more, right? Every college coach wants their kids getting better. Every college coach wants them improving. I think it's something that junior players need to do a better job of communicating with their college players before they go to school about what the expectations are in the summer. I understand it's a long season and kids get burnt out, but that's exactly why I did this trip on June 25th. If your season ends in April or beginning of May and you need a break, great. You know, take your 3 weeks to a month and recover and relax and get off the court. And every student athlete and every tennis player, I mean, a lot of the pro players take more breaks than our junior players do. So take your break. But, you know, June 25th comes around and to July 19th gives you time to just really just crush it and play a ton of matches and get better. And then again, come back and recover before you got to get to school in August and have the fall season and come. And so I think every college coach wants their kids playing, and I understand the jobs and internships, but at the end of the day, take it from me, you've got the rest of your life to work. You've only got a short window to continue to play your sport that you love and play tennis and improve. And for all those college tennis players, it's competitive. I mean, if you're not getting better in the summer, you're not going to play in the spring. And that's part of the coach's thing as well, which is, look, if I have a kid that played 5 or 6, I hope they don't play the next year if I'm a college coach. I hope I'm bringing in freshmen that are better than my 5 and 6. I hope my kids are working hard in the summer and they don't play. That means the team got better.
Right. Well, that's all good to hear, and I, again, I hope people will take advantage of this opportunity. It is a bit pricey, I will say that, and you and I talked about it, but your response to that is great. I mean, tell the listeners what you told me before we went on air about the cost.
Yeah, I mean, I think tennis is expensive, but if it's not what we did is not more expensive than traveling to Canada for futures or traveling around the U.S. to play money tournaments. I mean, we've got in the price, which is, depending on how you break it up, about $260 a day. You've got nice hotels, you've got breakfast, you've got dinner, you've got transportation to and from the tournaments, you've got practice courts, you've got insurance. I mean, we've got coaches going with you. I mean, we've got a lot in there that it's way cheaper than if you send a coach to travel with you around the U.S. and you're going to pick up all those costs.
Right.
And if you do it on a per match basis, it's not even close because you're going to be playing 3 tournaments a week. I mean, some players might come back and play 30, 40 matches.
Yeah, wouldn't that be awesome? So, practical question, what happens if they pop strings while they're there?
Well, they're going to have to get the racket strung. No, these are real deal big time tournaments. They've got everything. They've got trainers, they've got food, they've got sponsors. That's the other thing. I mean, I'm not bashing the American tournaments, but these players are going to show up to this and say, wow, this is what a real tournament looks like. I mean, these tournaments have had cars, giving away Range Rovers as for the winning. These are real professional, tournaments. They're not the show up and there's no refs and there's no food and there's no trainers and there's no sponsors. These are real deal events. These are big time tournaments in Europe.
Very cool. All right, so give us the website one more time, and then I'm going to let you get about your day because I know
tenniseurope.com/college team, but if they go to tenniseurope.com, they'll see it on the homepage, and on the bottom there's phone numbers and emails to contact Martin and Gary at Tennis Europe, and if anyone has any questions, they can always reach out to me on Facebook or email or phone, whatever they want. And we're really excited. Hopefully we can get some players to take advantage of this opportunity. I think it's great.
Fantastic. Ross, thank you so much. I'm just excited about this and excited that you're involved in it because I know if you're involved, it's going to be quality. And, for the parents that might be concerned, I will tell you, I know Ross. I know him very well. We've spent a lot of time together. And anything he's involved in, you can feel comfortable sending your kid on. So
I appreciate it. And then
out.
Also make sure that the people know. I mean, they can go for a week. They can go for 2 weeks. They don't have to go for the whole 3 weeks if they don't want to.
Yeah, and that's a nice alternative. And listen, parents, it's a great opportunity for you to travel too. And meet your
and at
kids
the end of the tournament, you can.
Yeah,
at the end of the tournament, I mean, it's not going to surprise me if the players stay in Europe and go do some just actual travel for leisure, for pleasure. Parents want to get out there and watch 1 week and then stay after, or go early and then stay for the first week. It's very flexible.
Very cool. Well, again, Ross, thank you so much, and good luck with it, and keep me posted.
Thank you.
If there's
I appreciate you having me on, and appreciate all the work you're doing in the tennis world, and we're lucky to have you.
Oh, well, ditto. Thank you. And to my listeners, thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned something new today and that you'll keep checking out Parenting Aces for all your tennis parent resource needs. Ross, have a great week. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thanks, Lisa.
And to my listeners, you too have a great week. Good luck to your kids wherever they may be competing or training right now. And we'll see you next week on Parenting Aces.
Introducing the 2016 Domino's DXP, a custom pizza delivery car with a built-in warming oven. That's right, a pizza company just made a pizza delivery car. Choose any 2 or more for $5.99 each. Medium 2-topping pizzas, specialty chicken, stuffed cheesy breads, or marbled cookie brownie. 2-item minimum, handmade pan pizza and bread bowls may be extra. You must ask for this limited time offer. Prices, participation, delivery area, and charges may vary. Participating stores and DXP availability may vary.